Halloween, the science of cashing in. Halloween is increasingly popular, so you can expect to see countless articles, adverts, TV shows, product offers and more all themed around it, even if the association is extremely tenuous. Why does this happen? And isn't this article just another blatant example of it? Yes it is. It's Halloween again. It feels like it's only been a year since this blog last clumsily tried to combine science and Halloween in a desperate bid to gain extra traffic from the fleeting society-wide interest in commercially acceptable occult. Fat chance of that, by the way, given the onslaught of all things Halloween. You're just adding to the noise. It's like sneezing into a hurricane and hoping someone says bless you. Where does all this come from though? Halloween is confusing enough as it is when you think about it logically. It's nominally meant to be scary, but it's also strongly emphasized as being child-friendly. Thanks to Halloween, it is now perfectly acceptable to dress small children as a vampire or a devil, a reanimated corpse that sustains itself by feasting on the blood of unwilling victims, and the biblical manifestation of all that is evil and responsible for the suffering of mankind, respectively. You wouldn't normally get away with that sort of thing. But on Halloween it's fine. The rules change, and children are actually encouraged to approach alarming-looking strangers bearing sweets. But seemingly everyone likes Halloween, so it's fine. And even if you don't like it, you're probably best keeping this to yourself, lest you get labeled a killjoy. But many do seem to think it's getting a bit ridiculous now. The flood of articles, products, TV shows and so on that seem driven to try and be the Halloweeniest thing of all crosses the line into genuinely alarming, and the way this manifests can be actually quite upsetting, even when compared to everything else about an international celebration themed around blood, gore and corpses. Aside from giving sweets to children you don't know, one of the main elements of modern Halloween is fancy dress. And their supposed point is to dress as something scary. Problem is, people are often afraid of things they shouldn't be, due to scaremongering or negative stereotypes. But again, Halloween trumps logic or rational thought, so you end up causing a scandal with things like mental patient costumes, or any number of other offensive outfits. The enthusiasm of Halloween seems to overrule acknowledging the pain and suffering experienced by others for the sake of looking like a bit of a tit for a few hours. And that's another concerning trend: over-sexualize costumes, mainly for women. There's a distressing trend for women's costumes to be sexy. Insert costume in question here. Who was it who looked at costumes modeled on predominantly dead things and decided they should be more arousing? And is this person still allowed out unsupervised? Although there's one darker possibility that nobody has mentioned yet: what if boobs are inherently scary? Think about it. Men are supposedly helpless to stare at them, and are often a physical drain on the woman they're attached to. What does that sound like? Mind-controlling parasites. But ones that can affect two individuals at the same time. Or maybe it's just the logical end result of the old adage sex sells. This is more likely, admittedly. But how does this come about, these worrying and bizarre things being done in the name of Halloween? Well, you've got the fact that it's such a widespread and popular occasion, so there's undeniably societal pressure to participate. But when people start doing things just to fit in, weird psychological processes occur. Normative social influence is the process whereby we change how we behave or even think by the group that we identify with. So if the culture and society you're part of is saying dressing up as a sexy zombie is fine, you're very likely to go along with it. But it can get out of hand, via the effect of group polarization. This is where groups of people tend to be more extreme in their views on things than if you took each individual view separately. One cause of this is the aforementioned normative social influence. You want others in your group to like you. But to do this, you lean towards adopting a more extreme view of the general consensus, in order to impress others. But said others try and do the same in turn, trumping your efforts. And a vicious cycle begins. So everyone loves Halloween? Well, I'm going to have the best costume. Then someone decides their costume is going to be better, and someone tries to top them, and soon you're using approaches like offense and sexualization to further stand out. And thus we end up with this widespread obsession with Halloween and dressing up. And when something is so popular, you're going to get those who profit from the attention and approval of the general public trying to achieve positive associations by mentioning or incorporating Halloween, no matter how contrived. It's so they can make money, really. That's about it. Halloween is popular, so many try to exploit this for profit. Feels like there should be more to it than that, and there may well be, but with so much Halloween stuff to get through today, it's unlikely anyone's still reading this by now.